Okay guys, welcome to today's video. Can you see what we're dealing with today? Let's see. We got some fingerprints on there. Hopefully that's coming across on the camera. It's a prior repair attempt. So yeah, I know I haven't done a repair video in a while on an instrument cluster, so when I saw this one, when I opened it up, I was like, cool, this is a good opportunity to do a repair video. But yep, look at these amazing solder joints. You know, I could just zoom the camera in. Just look at that. Aren't those yummy? Yeah, I bet we have like no solder pads left down there. But yeah, let's get this thing apart and get these motors off and see what we got to do here. Yeah, we sure got a lot of corrosion on this board too. I bet they had cockroaches in here at one point in time. So I've had 3 boards in a row now that were just filled with like cockroach turds and stuff. So wouldn't surprise me if this one had been before they put the new stepper motors in there. But it seems like the more cockroaches you have in one of these, the more corrosion. We'll zoom that back out. All right, let's get these motors off. Okay, when your solder ends up being like, I don't know, an eighth of an inch thick, quarter of an inch thick, it might be time to just stop. Okay, got all of that off. Let's solder down all the common solder points and get us some new bulbs on there. God, look at this mess I made with my roll of solder. I'm not exactly sure how I did that. I think it had just gotten tangled up, and when I went to untangle it, I accidentally ripped it. I wasn't paying too close attention. I was working on something, and I was just pulling it at the same time. Ended up with that mess on there. I feel like I've ruined that entire roll, but I'm gonna keep using it till it's just not usable. This is good solder. I like this chip quick solder. It works really good. It flows easily. It does have a harsh smell though. I should turn on my fume extractor. But yeah, here I'm just putting a little starter blob here for when I go put the bulbs on. Just makes it easy to get the bulbs on there. Go ahead and tin it up real nice and then go from there. Alright, so let's reflow these common areas. So his screen's dim, so it's going to be either this group of resistors here, or these guys right here. It's generally them, but we'll just go ahead and reflow all that. It turns off on them sometimes, so probably these diodes here causing it to turn off. Since it's the newer model, it could be in the voltage regulator, but I doubt it's the voltage regulator. I just reflow these all the time, same with all of the resistors there, so let's get into this. And since this one's been apart before, that could be in the connector here. I'll take a look at that too. Normally, it's not this connector, but you do run into problems on like prior repair attempts, or just instrument clusters that are like from the junkyard. Somebody, really manhandled it getting out of the car. You can crack the solder joints on there, but I've never seen them crack on their own just sitting in the car, but I've definitely seen them where people had they'd taken it in and out a couple of times, or got a junkyard one. They really manhandled it getting out of there. I never understood that too with the junkyard, because most junkyards, they don't care if you cut the harness. So yep, there we go. Here's our one that was cracked and loose. I just used the solder to kind of hold it in place, so just kind of push it where it's supposed to go, one end. But yeah, I've never really understood why people really fight with those connectors at the junkyard, because most junkyards really don't care if you cut the harness, so why fight with it? Just cut the darn thing off and then you're done with it. Plus, I prefer to have some extra harnesses laying around because I do wear them out sometimes. Yeah, I've had a lot of projects going on lately that are just not these instrument clusters. I've been doing a lot of instrument clusters, I just haven't been doing videos on them because I've been busy learning how to do the tuning, building that CNC machine, and just a lot of other stuff. And now I'm getting ready to move back home to Florida, so there'll probably be a small break in these videos in probably like a month or so when I get to moving. But yeah, I'm getting ready to move back home to Florida, so I won't be shooting these videos in Georgia anymore. I'll be back home in Florida. It'll probably take me a good couple of weeks of getting set back up over there once I move before I can start doing any more videos. Plus, it'll be a new market, so I'll have to, tap in, start running some ads down there. So I'm sure there'll be a good break in between moving and getting any new videos up from there. So it's kind of what I got going on in my personal life. But all right, looks like they didn't rip any of the lights off. I'm used to finding these prior repair attempts where they've ripped off some of the bulbs. Yeah, those look good. All right, so we're missing what? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. We're completely missing 9 solder pads. This one's loose and that one's loose. So, yeah, this will be a fun repair. This is gonna take a little bit longer than I quoted them originally, but all right, let's get started on doing these. Let me stop recording for. Okay, let's start with these easy ones first and just solder back down all the pads that are good, and then we'll work on all the lifted pads after that. I'm just going to use this guy. He flows pretty easily on them. Get a little bit of flux on there. We got a big old mess right here just from the previous guy. A bunch of solder stuck to the solder mask. Guess I can zoom it in for y'all. Okay, so that's all the solder pads that are good to go. Let's get these ones done. I'm gonna start with the speedo. It's always the trickier one because there's no test points nearby. Like these guys are all pretty easy because you just got a test point. Oh, y'all can't see me. These guys are all pretty easy because they just got a test point. But yeah, there's no test point for these, so I'm gonna have to scrape and then do it. So I'm gonna switch y'all over to the microscope. I haven't used the microscope in a while. Okay, so under the microscope here, and we're just going to scrape away at this trace here so that way we can get the solder mask off of it and actually be able to solder to it. We're just going to go ahead and just kind of push that over out of the way too. This one's a lifted pad. I'm just going to leave that little bit there because it's not going to hurt anything being there. And let's put some flux down. Okay, these two, same kind of repair, but not going to need to run a jumper, just going to need to bend the leg over to reach it. Yeah, we got this one, the pad's still kind of there, but we're going to make sure we get a good connection, bend it over, and get it on there. Okay, I finished out those last two jumpers on the back without Cho. I just didn't feel like recording them. Let's see. I missed a spot. I hate when I do that. Let's wipe those down. Sure, some of y'all with keen eyes caught that when I was doing it, because I did record that part. But let's get this alcohol out so I don't catch the board on fire and fix that. Just trying to clean off the flux here. Yeah, always clean your flux off when you're done. It's always nasty when you open up a board that's been repaired before and it's all covered in crusty flux that's just getting in your way. Alright. Alright, let's put this thing in its case and power it up and test it out. Alright. Cool, let's check and make sure all these motors sweep correctly. And there we go, now they all work. Alright, let's get this thing all the way back together and give it a good little test. Okay, so let's give this thing a quick little test. We got our communication line hooked up to it, and we have fuel, oil, and coolant. The battery, I don't have a BCM, so it's not going to show the voltage. And then we can just test these real quick with a little bit of ground to them. So oh, you can't see it, my arm's in the way. There goes tacho, and there goes speedo. So all of our gauges are now working correctly. So we can give this back to them. This is a successful repair. You just run a couple of jumpers on the back to fix those broken and missing solder pads, and then put some new bulbs on here. So this is a successful repair. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you liked it. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.